Trump blasting CIA intel that Russian hackers helped him win. In a tweet, he writes this: "Can you imagine if the election results were the opposite and we tried to play the Russia-CIA card? It would be called conspiracy theory."
Well, the CIA is standing by its claims despite reports that the FBI doesn't agree. They says there's no evidence. Here to break it all down is Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Anna Napolitano. Judge, also, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence does not endorse the CIA finding because there is no evidence that Russia tried to help Trump.
You're right. Let's start with a couple of basics. There are 16 publicly known intelligence agencies of the federal government. There are God only knows how many not publicly known intelligence agencies. They're filled with all kinds of people. They have all kinds of political views. Sometimes they disagree with each other. Sometimes a team will go off on its own and do something and management is unaware of it. Somewhere, somehow, a team in the CIA expressed an opinion that the Russians were attempting to influence the outcome of the election. How could they do that? There's leaking and there's hacking. Leaking is when somebody on the inside spills the beans, or somebody from the outside gets in there and reveals what's there.
That's what Julian Assange says. He says it was an insider.
Correct.
Not a hack.
Correct. That's what happened to Mrs. Clinton. That's what happened to John Podesta. That's what happened to the whole Clinton campaign. Every day, another 3,000 or 4,000 of these things had been leaked. Hacking is when someone remotely gets in the operational system and controls it and alters what's in there. There is absolutely no evidence that's been produced yet, Brian, and I dare say it doesn't exist.
So hacking isn't just going in and taking my emails?
No, hacking is affecting the integrity of the system. There is no evidence that that happened here by anybody for any purpose.
What about leaking? Is there any evidence of leaking?
Yes, of course there's evidence of leaking. Somehow, all the emails of John Podesta and Jen Plummer, that's not hacking, that's leaking. Hacking is controlling, influencing, changing, altering the operational system. Leaking is revealing what's in there.
So having said that, does Donald Trump have a case when he said this played no role in the election?
Yes, Donald Trump has a very strong case. Look, the best case the Democrats have is some people were disaffected to Mrs. Clinton when they read the emails, the snarky emails of her staff. But what Donald Trump is talking about is there is no evidence that the Russian government did something that affected the outcome of this election. He's absolutely correct when he says that.
What's your reaction to Donald Trump's tweet then? What if the roles were reversed?
Well, if the roles were reversed, it would be a very, very, very serious issue on our hands. I hate to think of how it would end up.
That's right. The FBI and the CIA not on the same page.
It happens all the time.
I thought after 9/11, though, they were all supposed to kind of be together.
You know, they were, but there's still institutional rivalry. Here's the interesting thing. They all rely on almost the same basic body of intelligence, which comes from the NSA. And it shows you how inscrutable intelligence can be. Two people or two teams looking at the same raw intelligence can see the same thing and interpret it 180 degrees differently.
Interesting stuff. All right, Judge, thank you very much.
All the best, guys.
Thanks, Judge.
All right, straight ahead on this Tuesday, the president-elect, Fox News alert just made it official. Rex Tillerson is his pick for Secretary of State. The incoming White House Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus, joins us at the top of the hour to discuss.
And it's an incredible prayer from first responders to you, the people that they protect.
God bless each of you who we fight for,
live for,
die for.
Die for.
So they are praying for us. Some of the heroes who joined forces for that video, which has now gone viral in a huge way, they're in our green room right there. They're going to join us live next.
And have a little faith.
First responders delivering a very powerful message to the people that they protect, you and your family.
I don't see you by religion.
I see you as a fellow American.
The same God looks out for us, regardless of what you call him.
Many have come before me. Many have sacrificed more than me.
Before I leave for work, I kiss my family goodbye.
I pray I will return to them.
But we share in the difficult knowledge the moment may come where I may not.
For now, I live each moment in appreciation that I can serve and protect.
Firefighters and police officers from Manchester, Connecticut joining forces to share their message, and it has gone viral with more than 1 million views. Here with more on how this video came to be is Manchester Fire Chief Don Moore. We have Police Chief Mark Montminy, am I saying that right? And then we have Fire Rescue EMS Chief David Billings. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
That video is touching. And if you want to find it, I put it on my Twitter account for folks at home. It's worth watching. I'm so impressed that in the video, well, first of all, how did the video come to be?
Well, we were approached by Kyle Reyes, and he is donating the services to put together this message for us to get out to the public.
Okay, and Mark, he's a CEO in your hometown, right?
That's right. Silent Partner Marketing he's a CEO here in our town. He volunteered his service to help us get this message on the street. And the message basically was, I think public safety gets a bad rap nowadays, and 99.9% of what we do is positive, and so we wanted to get some of the positive out there.
Yeah, Don, he put together this video. All of you had your staff in the video, so y'all know everyone between the three of you in the video. I was so impressed with some of the messaging. We run into a building, a burning building, to save your life. We take a bullet to save your life. We don't see anyone by race or religion or sexual preference. What was your reaction to, millions of people have seen this. What was your reaction to that?
It's very powerful. And it's what we do every day. The guys on the line, the women on the line put their life on the line all the time, and they don't think about it. We think about making sure that the citizens are safe of our community.
Let's show our viewers at home a little snippet of it.
I will run into a burning building to save your life.
Though I do not know your name, I will take a bullet for you.
Though we've never met.
I believe in duty and sacrifice of self.
On my honor,
I will never betray my badge.
Mark, why was it important to make this video for you?
Well, like I said, I think that the public has a misperception, particularly as of late, of what public safety really does. Public safety is a lot more than just throwing bad people in jail. We're the ones who pull you out of the burning car. We're the ones who respond when you're having a medical. We've become all things to all people, and I think we've kind of gotten a bad rap recently. So I'm glad this message says something positive, and I'm glad the reaction to it was positive. Yeah, Dave, the responsibility that you guys have is, you see in that video, you guys are talking about kissing your families goodbye, your children goodbye in the morning, and not knowing and praying that you're going to come home safe at night. What is your message if people are watching that are anti-police or anti-fire department, anti-first responders? Well,
I believe that there is a lot of negative attention to first responders at this point. But what we tried to do with this message is that these are real people. These are not just a badge, it's not just a uniform. And in the video, they're not actors, they're not models, they're not professional spokespeople. These are real people that are highly motivated to come out and serve mankind. It's a very noble calling, and this is something that these individuals love to do.
Not only do you sacrifice your lives for all of us, you also are praying for us. So thank you so much for everything you do. You're just amazing individuals.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Merry
very
Christmas.
much.
God bless you all. Thank you. Have you heard President Obama has a new criticism of the president-elect? He says that Mr. Trump is flying blind. The incoming White House Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus, is standing by at Trump Tower to join us live on that. And hide your eyes. The cross on that Christmas tree could be offensive, could cause irreparable harm. Irreparable harm. I guess that's how you pronounce it, right? The lawsuit filed to get it down, and the big Secretary of State. Incoming White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus is standing by at Trump Tower. He's going to join us live to talk about it.
He is indeed. And how would Hillary Clinton feel if somebody questioned the outcome of our Democrat election?
Let me respond to that, because that's horrifying.
Well, it looks like somebody forgot to tell her campaign chairman this morning John Podesta is making a new and unprecedented demand.
Plus the View, it's still on, unhinged.
So the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Please.
Joy Behar wants Donald Trump to step down. I wonder if Trump will. I wonder, can we get a line out there? Let's get John Roberts up. Your Mornings About with Friends.
And great food. That's it. Is that it? That's the big boy breakfast? What do you call that? The Johnny V's?
That is, Pete, that is not for an entire baseball team. That is for one person, right?
Ham, hash browns. I got an hour. You can put the time on the clock. I have an hour to finish it, and then, then I don't have to pay for it.
Can we zoom in again? Can we see it all?
So I'm going to get to work on it.
We need to see it all.
How many pancakes are there?
I mean, look at that.
If you fold just a little bit
8
short,
pancakes and 10 eggs.
If you fold just a little bit short, you're going to need a personal loan.
You can do it. You did 2 tours. You can do this.
And Pete, what does all that food go for there at Johnny V's? How much is it on the menu?
$18. It's the best deal you can find in West Milwaukee. So come on out to Johnny V's. We're going to be here for a couple hours.
It's free.
$18
if you finish it.
Yep, we're going to. It's free if you finish it, though. Yeah, we're going to be talking to voters here about politics. Donald Trump coming to West Allis tonight. We're going to ask about his new pick and how he's done so far. And I'm going to eat.
All right, Pete. Thanks a lot. I am not optimistic. I think you're going to fail miserably.
I think he can do it.
I don't. All right. Hey, joining us now is the future chief of staff for President-elect Trump, Reince Priebus, joining us from Trump Tower.
And the first question we have for you, Joy Behar wants him to step down. Do you think he will? Will he listen to her?
I think he's putting together one of the greatest cabinets that an administration has seen in a very long time. He's doing great. He's enjoying it, and it's also a lot of work. And I think a lot of people are very proud of what's happening here in New York, and can't wait to bring it back to Washington D.C. and get started.
Well, the big name today is Rex Tillerson, the CEO of ExxonMobil. It sounds like is going to be his official nomination. Why is that guy getting the job and not Mitt, not Rudy, not Corker, not any of those other guys?
Well, I mean, first of all, it starts with a vision. It starts with chemistry. It starts with how all of that will be implemented. So, look, I think it's very clear that this was a pick that President-elect Trump took a long time to make, but also a deliberative amount of time to make. And look at the people he brought in and talked to. He talked to John Bolton. He talked to Mitt Romney, Rudy Giuliani, David Petraeus, and so many others. But at the end, it was Rex Tillerson. Right. Sort of the business, but also the vision, and also the fact that Rex Tillerson has maintained these relationships across the world through many administrations, both Republicans and Democrats. And at the end of the day, it's putting America first, and Donald Trump and Rex Tillerson had a connection on that issue, and we're excited about today and what Rex Tillerson's going to bring to the table.
We know that he could get a great table in Yemen. He'll know the best restaurants. He is that connected through some of the worst spots in the world that happen to have oil. The question is, can he put America where Exxon was? Can he understand America's policies and not go for the dollar, but go for the diplomacy?
Well, I think, as we all know, the good Lord didn't put oil in all freedom-loving democracies across the world. So that requires someone at the top of to say, look, we're going to have relationships with people that may not always be the folks that are the greatest people in the world, but people that I have to get along with. In order to have world peace, in order to have peace in the Middle East, you know that you have to be able to bring people to the table that might not always like each other, but you have somebody that's capable of doing that. And so having relationships with people that would otherwise not be the first people you'd invite to your party might actually be beneficial to putting America first, and that's what Rex Tillerson and President-elect Trump want to do.
And what Senator McCain and Senator Menendez have had problems with is because he got the Friendship Award from Vladimir Putin that many people view as he's been absolutely aggressive against the U.S. for the last 8 years. Can somebody who has a friendship plaque in his office be tough on Vladimir Putin?
Well, Rex Tillerson's a really tough guy, and you know what? Athletes, astronauts, musicians, other Americans, Canadians, a lot of folks have gotten this award. But the truth is that having relationships with people is not a bad thing. I don't know how we got to the place where having an actual functional relationship with someone who might not be a person that we'd first think of to have that relationship is suddenly a bad thing. I mean, we have a lot of problems in this world, and we're not going to solve those problems by making believe that people don't exist. And so, America first. That's what President-elect Trump lives by every day. That's what's in his head every day. Americans first, America first. We're going to be tough across the world. And President-elect Trump and Rex Tillerson and Vice President-elect Pence are going to take every day with that mindset in place.
What about Secretary of Energy? Let's talk about that this morning. Rick Perry was named as the Secretary of Energy. Why did you guys choose him?
Well, that hasn't been formally announced, and so that may happen later in the week, but
CBS
we're not ready to announce that. Well, CBS can report what they want to report.
Not official until Donald Trump
hasn't been enough. It has not been official.
All right, so if you do
choose
him, or maybe why is he on the list?
Right. That's a better way to do it, Ainsley. If we did... no, I would just say, obviously, we've got a 14-year governor of Texas that I think people know across the country as being a great advocate and leader. He's managed one of the biggest states in the country, but not just that, but one of the biggest economies in the world. And so leading up to Department of Energy is something that he could do very well. We have a lot of confidence in Governor Perry. He's a great friend, but obviously it's not a done deal yet, but certainly he's extraordinary.
It's not a done deal yet. He's not President of the United States. And yet, I'm sure you saw yesterday, Reince, the legacy media, going crazy over the fact that Donald Trump is not taking the daily presidential briefing every day. Says, you know, there's a lot of information that's all the same. If anything changes, let him know. Here's a soundbite. I want you to listen to this. Here's the President of the United States saying that Mr. Trump is flying blind without it. Listen.
They are full of extraordinarily hardworking, patriotic, and knowledgeable experts. And if you're not getting their perspective, their detailed perspective, then you are flying blind.
Well, I believe he didn't take it every day either, but what do you make of his assessment that you're flying blind without the critical assessment of the people in the intel community?
Yeah, but it's just not true. He's doing his intelligence briefings every day, and we do the presidential briefing. I think this week we'll have 3 presidential briefings in the 5 days. I mean, this is a little bit ridiculous and over the top. Look, he's very prepared. We spend all day, every day, in his office, every half an hour meeting with someone different, whether it be about world affairs, whether it be domestic issues, interviews for cabinet positions. Yesterday he spoke with President Obama as well for quite a long time, talking about a number of issues. So, I mean, this is just a little bit, you know, look, people are slicing and dicing right now, and it's December, it's 10 days before Christmas, it's interesting, and everything's Donald Trump all the time, but that's okay, because he's ready, we're excited, and he's doing a fantastic job.
All right, now let's talk about what's not going to happen, and that is the Donald Trump press conference to describe how he's going to disentangle himself from his business. What we do know is that he said Eric and Don Jr. will not add to the business. They'll maintenance the properties that they have, and it looks like Ivanka and Jared will be playing a role in the administration. But we didn't get the press conference we thought we were getting. What happened?
Well, first of all, you're going to get it, and we're going to do it right after Christmas, after the first of the year. But can we just back up a second? And I think you all know this. I mean, we have a person that's built one of the most successful retail companies in the entire world. I mean, no one didn't believe when they went to the polls that the Trump brand, the product, the hotels, the golf course, all of it wasn't something that was real and was something that wasn't going to be cut off instantly right after the election. This isn't easy stuff. And so what President-elect Trump is doing with a lot of lawyers and a lot of people involved is just making sure that all government ethics are followed, that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and he's going to make sure that nothing is compromised. And so that's all this is, and it's just going to take a little time, but we're going to get it right.
Reince, would you say I'm accurate in that description, that Don Jr. and Eric stay in New York, run the companies, don't buy anything else, they just maintenance those accounts, and Ivanka will be playing some type of role in the administration?
Listen, part of that is true, but perhaps not all of it, and I'm not prepared now to slice and dice it with you, although I do like you a lot, Brian. It's not something that I'm going to do right now. But what I will say is that just like what we talked about earlier about Rex Tillerson, it's America first, Americans first, and we don't want to have any issues like this moving forward after January 20th. So it's going to take time, and I can just assure you and the rest of the American people that President-elect Trump is going to do everything properly.
Ryan, what can we expect tonight? He's going to Wisconsin to thank the voters there who helped him get elected.
Well, I might see my house today. That would be an interesting sight. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It's a thank you event in Wisconsin. You're going to see, obviously, Scott Walker, Paul Ryan, and other David Clark and others there that are excited to meet him back. Look, we haven't won Wisconsin since 1984, and we have a candidate that was very uniquely situated to win. And I don't think anyone else could have won Wisconsin but Donald Trump. And so he did it, and people love him there, and we can't wait to see everybody.
Well, it'll be good news that you can actually go and do laundry at your actual house. Rights, before you go, though, what do you make of the legacy media talking about how, the story that the CIA thinks that Russia helped Trump, the FBI says there's no proof, and now the Office of the Director of National Intelligence doesn't see any evidence, and yet legacy media is saying it looks like positively Russia helped Trump win?
Well, first of all, there's two different issues. One is the hacking itself, which we don't like and think is ridiculous, and we need to protect Americans and businesses and entities from hacking. But the second piece, which is terribly offensive, is that somehow Russia helped Donald Trump win. Number one, there's no evidence that the result of whatever anyone did on this hacking actually helped Donald Trump win. Right. The reason Donald Trump won was that he swept the country with a message like no one's ever seen. He won because he crushed Hillary Clinton in the debates, especially debate 2 and 3. He won because he was able to resonate throughout the Midwest. He won because Hillary decided to ignore Wisconsin and Michigan. I'm sure the Russians didn't advise her of that. This whole thing is really a play by the liberal media to take away a legitimate electoral landslide from President-elect Trump. But forget about that. We don't care. We're moving forward. We do want to avoid these sorts of situations in the future, but there's no evidence that it actually helped Donald Trump win. He did it. The team did it. And obviously, we're excited about looking forward, not through the rearview mirror, and that's what we're doing every day.
And I'm sure you're going to have a big day today. And as you announced, the Secretary of State and maybe the Secretary of Energy. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it, Ryan Priebus.
Thank you. Have fun at home today.
Thank you, everybody. You bet.
That's right. All right, he could rake some leaves or scoop some snow. Meanwhile, Donald Trump set to appoint Goldman Sachs President Gary Cohn, it sounds like, to a top White House job. Stu Varney on deck, and he predicts a liberal meltdown.
Yes. Another Goldman Sachs banker appointed to a key White House role. Donald Trump choosing Gary Sachs to lead the White House National Economic Council. That's wrong, right?
Gary Cohn.
Gary Cohn, yeah.
Right.
I'm reading it
I
wrong.
wonder who he's talking to. He just wrapped up that call.
So who is Gary Cohn, and is he the right pick? Here to break it all down, Stuart Varney, host of Varney & Company on the Fox Business Network. Gary Cohn is one of the guys who runs Goldman.
Oh, yes, he is. He's the president and chief operating officer. He operates the company.
Does this mean he has to leave that big salary?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. But I think he's a wealthy man anyway.
Okay.
But look, point number one, he's another hands-on business guy appointed to a top position by Donald Trump. Remember, he's not an academic. This is real economics, not classroom economics, and that's a big difference. Number two, hold on a second. Number two, he's a Goldman Sachs guy, another Goldman Sachs guy. Add him to the list of Steve Mnuchin, who goes to the Treasury, Steve Bannon, senior counsel. These are all Goldman Sachs people. You're talking really about government Sachs at this point.
Wow.
And that's going to be very unpopular with liberals.
Well, that maybe with some Republicans, too. Do you think that sends a signal to the stock market we're going to start undoing Dodd-Frank to loosen up some of the regulations that have been choking us to death?
Yes, exactly that. Dodd-Frank was the Financial Reform Act passed by the Obama administration, which saddled Wall Street and the banking industry with an enormous level of regulation.
But they did deserve some regulation because they crashed the economy.
But not necessarily that. Not necessarily that. Personally, I thought you should have broken up the big banks as opposed to just regulate them to death. You want a functioning banking system, and we don't have it at the moment.
Sure.
We don't have it. I want some change there, and these Goldman Sachs people may well be the ones who do it for us. But can I just remember one thing?
Surely.
Goldman Sachs changed the rules back in September of this year about who their top executives could support. They changed the rules so that those executives could not give money to Donald Trump, only to Hillary Clinton.
How is that legal?
And, well, you change the rules internally, you can do it. They can do what they like. So he got Donald Trump going with the people who were not allowed to contribute to him. That's crossing the aisle.
Okay, it's 20 minutes after the top of the hour. Later today, we could actually hit 20,000 in the stock market. That would be unbelievable.
Today or tomorrow, it looks a distinct possibility. We're only 200 points away from 20,000. We will open this morning up 60 points. So we've probably got, 140-odd points to go. That's doable very soon.
Coming up next on MSNBC, the downside of prosperity. Thanks a lot.
That was good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so right. All right, have you heard about this? 2 of HGTV's biggest names calling it quits on their marriage. We just learned what might have broken up the stars of that show, Flip or Flop.
I love that show.
Too.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump says he will bring Merry Christmas back to the White House. Reverend Franklin Graham here to react. You think he likes
What's
it?
up, Reverend?
He's got a shoebox. We'll tell you about that, too. All right. Time now for some news by the numbers. First, 131. That's how many votes President-elect Donald Trump picked up in the Wisconsin recount. Mr. Trump tweeting, the final Wisconsin vote is in, and guess what? We just picked up an additional 131
so the recount
votes.
benefited him.
The Dems and Green Party can now rest. Scam. Sorry, Jill. And 20 weeks. That's how long American Express employees will now receive in paid maternity leave. The deal is extended to mothers, fathers, and even part-time employees. And finally, number 1, California topping the list of the worst state for drivers. A study of Bankrate.com finding the beautiful roads hugging the Pacific coastline aren't worth the price of gasoline or insurance. Worst state for drivers.
President-elect Donald Trump has a message this holiday season.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. We're going to start saying Merry Christmas again.
Here to react is Reverend Franklin Graham. Thank you so much for being with us, Reverend.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. And you know what? I've got a shoebox with me. We're collecting 12 million of them this year. And these are going to children in 130 different countries. And this one's for a girl. But we pack them for all ages. We have about 300,000 volunteers.
Let's look at what else you got in there.
Crayons, toothbrush, little hat. School supplies.
Because for some children, this is going to be the only gift they get.
The only gift they get. It's called Operation Christmas Child. It's part of Samaritan's Purse. And we do this every year. The first year we started, we had 11,000 boxes. This year it'll be 12 million. And so 134 million total. But every box, I want the children of the world to know that God loves them, that He hasn't forgotten them, and that Jesus Christ came to this earth to take our sins, and that He died on a cross and God raised Him to life. And I want the children of the world to know that you can invite Christ into your heart and your life can be changed for eternity.
So we don't have to pack that box ourselves. We could not do it that neat. You have a system for people can donate, right?
Absolutely. And it's Operation Christmas. You can go to SamaritansPurse.org and you can learn all about it. But we never have enough boxes. You say, well, you got 12 million this year. That is not enough. There's a lot more children.
How much is it? You donate, you give money on Samaritan's Purse, is that right?
What they do is, if this time of year, because it's getting close to Christmas, you can go online and you can actually pack a box online.
Yeah.
And it's called Build a Box, and you can do it right online. And we ask people to help pay for the shipping. That's $7 to ship the box. But if you took that to UPS and said send that to Pakistan for $7, maybe 107, but
right.
Well, you've been doing this for many, many years, and we're happy. Folks can go to our website, foxandfriends.com, and we will link to yours. Going back to the first soundbite we had, Donald Trump said, we're going to say Merry Christmas again.
Right, sure.
For years, corporate America has kind of washed Merry Christmas from the public square along with government entities and instead put in Happy Holidays. Where do you weigh in on all that?
Well, first of all, if somebody said to me Happy Hanukkah, I'm going to say Happy Hanukkah back to them. If somebody says Merry Kwanzaa, I'm going to say right back to them. If it's another person's holiday, I'm going to celebrate it with them and say hello. But what it is, it's Christmas. It's the name of Jesus Christ. And for Christmas, this is a Christian holiday. But what the world is, they hate the name of Christ. And that's why they want to take Christ out of Christmas. They want to say Happy Holiday.
Sure.
But I'm going to leave Christ's name in it because it's his birthday. This is a Christian holiday. So when the Muslims want to celebrate one of their holidays, I don't object and celebrate with them.
And Reverend, the evangelical community plays such a vital role in Donald Trump's election. What are they expecting back?
Well, I think we will want him to name good people into the cabinet. I think it's some of the moral issues that we as Christians are concerned about, at least that we be at the table and have a chance to speak into those issues. Things like abortion, same-sex marriage, these are issues that are important to us. The moral issues, and I think he's picking a good cabinet. I support Donald Trump. I think he's going to make a good president, and we need to be praying for him. And I want to encourage Christians who voted for him now to keep praying that God would guide and direct him in all that he does, because the decisions he makes are going to affect our lives for a long time.
All right,
I know.
Reverend Graham, thank you. Give your love to your dad for us.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right. Coming up.
Yeah, coming up straight ahead. That was you thought The View was already off the air, right? Well, it's always been bad. Now it got worse.
Do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy Behar goes on to call for President Trump to step down. Will he?
I think she's actually stepping down.
And politics served sunny side up. Pete Hegseth is live in Wisconsin talking to the voters ahead of President-elect Donald Trump's visit there tonight. Hey, Pete, how's that coming?
Oh, my goodness.
Still haven't finished it.
The challenge is going. We're working on it. Can't you see I'm making progress? But it turns out you didn't just send me here to eat. So we're going to be talking to some voters here in West Allis, here at Johnny V's, and I'm taking on the challenge right now.
A Fox News alert. Former Secretary of Defense Bob Gates just issuing a statement on President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of State. He says, I strongly endorse the President-elect's selection of Rex Tillerson to be the next Secretary of State. He would bring to the position vast knowledge, experience, and success in dealing with dozens of governments and leaders in every corner of the world.
So interesting, because he's probably the most experienced person who's worked in more administrations than anybody else I know. He defined the establishment, and yet you go outside the establishment to get Rex Tillerson, and maybe backed up the story that he endorsed him. He was the one who brought him up.
He and Condi Rice in the month of November went and talked to Donald Trump, said, hey, if you're looking for people, Rex Tillerson, deal maker, got a lot of contacts around the world. Ultimately, that's what Donald Trump decided. They made it official with the nomination announcement earlier today.
That's exactly right. Well, it's the heart of the Rust Belt, and Wisconsin hadn't voted Republican for nearly 3 decades until this year.
And today, President-elect Donald Trump is thanking them as part of his thank you tour in West Allis, Wisconsin.
And that is where Pete Hegseth is now talking to those voters at Johnny V's in West Allis. He's taken a break from his gigantic breakfast buffet, and now he's going to talk to the folks, some in sweater vests.
It's true. I should get that time back, which I think I will eventually get for that challenge. But we're taking the pulse of the people. What do they think about Donald Trump winning this state, which Republicans had won for so long, and how do they feel about how he's doing so far? Reed, good morning.
Good morning.
And Reed, what do you do?
I'm an inventor and consultant.
So an inventor and a consultant is a Republican who voted for Trump. How do you feel like he's doing so far?
I think he's making great decisions so far.
And why do you say that?
Well, he's a man that's written paychecks before, and he's bringing people onto his team that have good judgment, know how to solve problems, that want to represent the American people, not just their own selfish interests.
Well, speaking of selfish interests, what do you make of the recount effort, those trying to discredit Mr. Trump at this point?
Total folly.
Yeah, I mean, the vote didn't change. What are they trying to do?
That will remain a mystery.
And what do you hope, if it's one thing you want to see him accomplish as president, what would it be?
Well, probably 2 things if I get a bonus question. One, I want to see him make the VA great again, and I know that's an interest of yours, but I would say the Supreme Court picks are paramount.
Interesting. Thank you, Reed. Appreciate it. We got over here another gentleman. Gentleman, what's your name?
Corey.
Corey, and what do you do?
Work for sales for a company called Chris Hansen.
So you're in sales here in West Allis or in the area. How do you feel about Donald Trump and how he's done so far?
Well, I think that he's the type of leader that's going to surround himself with the people that know a little bit more about those specific areas than what he does. So I think he's doing a really nice job of filling his cabinet up with the type of secretaries that's going to hopefully try to move this country forward.
And as we were talking before, you said you didn't necessarily vote for him. It was, in some ways, it was a rejection of Hillary Clinton. But in light of that, how hopeful are you that he's going to be able to accomplish what he said he wants to do?
Well, I'm real hopeful that he'll be able to get done what he wants to do. But yeah, I think that as we consider where we're at with the country, $19 trillion in debt, I think it's a really great move to have a businessman that's actually wrote paychecks before and balanced budgets to try to move the country ahead.
And one last question. What do you make of the recount effort, them trying to muddy the waters with that?
Yeah, Wisconsin's been scarred by politics here since the Walker recall, and it changed nothing, and it will continue to change nothing. But moreover, I think it validated exactly what we already knew.
Hear that? It changed nothing. Well, it did change 131 votes, but toward Mr. Trump instead. Ma'am, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's your name and what do you do?
I'm Rochelle. I'm a bartender.
Very nice. And did you vote for Mr. Trump?
I did.
And how do you feel like he's doing so far?
I feel he's doing pretty good so far. He's trying to tackle the issues before even getting into office, so that's great.
Yeah, what did you make about the carrier deal where he went in there and saved those 1,100 jobs?
I liked how he just came in and took charge, you know? You need somebody in the White House that's going to do that, so...
Do you feel like he's almost already president? He's sort of stepping up to the mantle?
Yeah, he is. He's already... good. I mean, he's doing the steps, and he's just doing a good job so far.
Yeah, the gentleman over here talked about how Wisconsin's been scarred by politics a little bit, a lot of what do you the attempt by some Democrats and others to make it look like, you know, he didn't win fair and square?
Well, I mean, it's just proving what we already know. So, you know, besides 131 votes that we didn't actually know about. So it's a good thing.
And if there's one thing you want to see him accomplish when he steps into office, what would it be?
Just bringing a lot more jobs back.
Jobs. There you hear it. Jobs, issues, and across the spectrum, there's been a lot of satisfaction with the picks that the president-elect has made so far. You hear outside the box, you hear businessman and CEO and success, which I think really resonates with the folks here, and they look forward to hearing from him from the podium tonight.
That's right. And Trump is heading your way out into Wisconsin. Pete, thank you very much. Back to your gigantic breakfast.
Thank you.
It's always great to talk to the folks because those are the reasons. That's real America. Yeah. Midwesterners, they're such nice people. I want to hear like what they expect for this country, for Donald Trump, why they voted for him.
Because we not real.
Well, you're not real.
You have a choice. On television, you could either listen to the pundits or the people. The pundits got every single thing wrong with this election. Ultimately, it was the people who decided, and it's great that Pete's out there.
Heather, as we toss to you, I want to ask you your question.
Yeah.
I believe that Pete is wearing what's advertised on our channel, an untucked shirt. Untucked shirt. I believe, because I was given the Wonder Wallet off our channel as a gift. I believe Pete capitalized on the untucked shirt.
Exactly, and it's the kind that lets you breathe under the arms.
Exactly.
Which is exactly
it has like air. It has air holes.
Yeah, that's
under
what they
the
advertise.
Do not tuck it in.
Yeah.
Untuck it.
Looks great, Pete. Oh,
there
as he fixes his hair.
You have to untuck it because it's the only way you'll fit in your clothes after you eat all that.
Wow, look at all that food.
Look at him.
That's how folks
Too bad that untucked shirt doesn't come with a bib the way he eats it.
I will say, isn't it the best to have elastic waist pants and an untucked shirt? That's the best part.
Right. One of the best things about being pregnant
That's what's good.
is getting to wear those
a lot of the
stretchy
mobsters
pants
do
all the
that.
time.
A lot of the mobsters do that. They wear a sweatsuit all day.
As you get older, you just dress for comfort.
That's
right. I met your uncles. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
On my mom's side. On my mom's side.
Velvet leisure suit.
All right. Good morning. Hope you're all off to a great day. A couple of quick headlines to bring you right now. An unpopular view. Joy Behar unleashing on President-elect Donald Trump, demanding that he step down before Inauguration Day. The co-host doesn't stop there, slamming Mr. Trump, alleging that he has ties to Russia. Listen to this.
Do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Oh, goodness. Well, of course, the hammer and sickle is a Russian communist symbol. A cross on top of one town's Christmas tree, no more. Officials in Knightstown, Indiana, taking it down after one complaint that was sparked by a lawsuit by the ACLU. A man claimed that cross violated the First Amendment and caused him, quote, irreparable harm. The town council says it could not win the court case. Outraged residents now hanging out wooden crosses and placing them all over town, and see them handing them out there in the traffic. A consumer alert to bring you, and this is a serious one just in the heart of Christmas shopping season. Thieves are targeting Amazon customers in a brand new email scam. They're sending out fake messages telling buyers their orders can't be shipped without resubmitting their credit card or bank information. Important to know, do not click on that link. That site completely fake. And those are your headlines. We do so much shopping on Amazon. You need to know that.
Beware.
Yep. I'll see you soon.
In
Thanks.
your email, hover over the return address to see whether or not it is from Amazon. If it's not, just erase it.
I'm so glad I make my own gifts. I don't have to worry about that.
Over there in Brian's shop. Meanwhile, straight ahead, why can't the FBI and the CIA agree whether or not the Russians hacked the election to help Donald Trump? Could politics be playing a role between the two agencies? A former CIA agent takes us inside that question next.
Might be Mike Baker, might not be. Are you one of those people having trouble accepting the outcome of the election? Have no fear. Government-sponsored therapy is here.
Oh, thank goodness.
Hug somebody.
It's going to be okay, folks.